Hey there, geometry fans. Mr. Chu here with Brack Geometry. Let's talk about similar triangles. So this particular lesson will just be concentrating on side angle side and side 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 congruency theorems. I need to explain to you some words, but before I get started, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. Like this thing. It helps me push out to more people when you do. Also, you can subscribe by clicking the button over here in the far right. And I appreciate that when you do both. So, first I have to define a couple things. An included angle is an angle that is between two sides that have been marked corresponding. Okay? So, an example of an included angle would be H is an included angle because it's between these two sides that are marked tally 1 and tally 2. Now when you mark these, that means that this side and this side correspond. And this side correspond. And since angle H and angle K have just one arc in it, it means they correspond. So the angle is in between these two corresponding sides. So if these are congruent, it would be side angle side, because the angle is in between the two sides. An included side would be an example like here in example 2. Do you see how the corresponding side with one tally is in between the sides between the two angles that are marked corresponding? I got two arcs here, two arcs here. One arc here, one arc here. So that's the difference between an included angle and an included side. And if these are similar, then I would say by angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. The side is between the two angles. And if you can say they are congruent by either of these two congruency statements and theorems, then you can write a congruent statement. When you write a congruent statement, the corresponding angles have to line up in order. They have to be, the first angle has to be corresponding with the first angle on the left and right, and I'll show you in an example here. So if these are similar, we could say by side angle side. So we would say the triangles are similar. That's just some abbreviations. So then you're saying by what? By the side angle side. And in this case, the angle's in between the two sides. See how the angle's between the two sides? And you have to make sure that they line up, and they do. Sometimes the triangles will be flipped and they won't be oriented the same. In this case, they are. So I can write a congruent statement now. Before I do that, I need to make sure that I line up what is important after I write the first triangle. If I start up here, I'm just going to write triangle, and I'm just going to write GHI. Then I write congruent to, and I know that the H and the K have to be together. So you see how the H is here? So the K would be in the middle, and then I just have to put my first and my second one. All right, so now if K and H go together, and I've got these two sides go together, and it's going out in the same direction, that means J and G have to go together. So there's my G, there's my J, and the only ones that's left is I and L. And you can tell, similar triangles you could take and you could lay them right on top of each other and then expand them out using a dilation, and they would fit right on top of each other. All right, so I can say now that angle G is congruent to that first one. And then I can say that angle H is congruent to the middle one, angle K. And then I can say that angle I is congruent to angle L. And that order has to be there. If not, then you can't say that they are similar. All right, now this particular one here, I've got a side in between two angles. So the triangles are similar by angle, side, angle. And you see how the side is in between the two angles? Now, let's go ahead and let's list the angles here. Angle M has to be congruent to the one that's got the two arcs on it. Angle Q. And then angle P has to be congruent to the one that has one on it. Then these two have to be congruent as well. They have to be. There is no other way. So angle N has to be congruent to angle N. Now remember, in a congruent statement, you have to have them in order. So triangle, just list it, MNP. You have to list one of them just like you're drawing it, is congruent to. Now what goes with my M? Q. What goes with my N? N. That wouldn't be N. N and R. So that was a mistake when I was writing that down. They both have 3 on there. So we got an R here in the middle. N and R go together, and P and S. There is your congruent statement. Okay? So that is how you write that. Now there are side proportionalities that we'll work with in another lesson, in another video. I'm going to put you up here a challenge question that you can try. So here will be challenge 1. And you're doing the same thing. You're saying, are they congruent? Why? And then you're writing the congruent statement. So I've got my first triangle. It's A, B, C. And I've got one tally here. I've got one arc here. And I've got 2 arcs here. And then I've got D, E, F. They'll get harder in the next video. So write the congruent statement. So you're going to start it out by saying A, B, C, and then you're going to write whatever 3 that would be. And then by, it's either side angle side or side side side. Okay, that's challenge 1. Now we'll go to challenge 2. And remember, I will have a video where I explain these. That'll be linked right up here at the top. So in challenge 2, I've got 2 right angles, 2 right triangles. And I've got an H, I, J, and a K. L, M. And I've got a right angle here. And now I've got let's see, let's take this angle off of here. Let's put a double on that here. All right. So there's your 2 examples, and you'll write this one like this: triangle H, I, J is congruent to what triangle? By side angle side or side side side. So it's not that tough. Remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel. You can pause it, work these two, and then there'll be a link right up here that'll have them worked. And then down here will be a link to other geometry videos. I'm Mr. Chu. I want to help you learn the geometry in brachiometry. See you here on the challenge problem video next. Bye everyone in my tie.